what are the pitfalls? What could go wrong? When it comes to implementation gaps, those things that could go wrong when it comes to implementation. Um, the the laws on the paper don't necessarily guarantee that there's going to be change in how they do things as in terms of practice. And of course, the institutional capacity is still not changing because we didn't hear anything about restructuring the institution that is in charge of taxation. That's FIRS. You only change the name, just like the way we change prison to correctional center, but things still remain the same. And also, funding, we don't know how is the funding is, and also the training of the staff. Have you trained them? Those who are going to actually handle this, and also those who are going to be paying too. They need training. I've worked in international organizations, and I believe that they are very big on when it comes to taxation. You pay a lot of tax, and of course, the accountants, the auditors, those in charge of compliance. You need to train them so that they can actually comply with things. And also, how well do we actually um, intimate the public? That's in terms of public awareness. Is there proper awareness? Um, you know, Telling them that the system is not as slow as before. People that they they are not going to be forced, they are not going to be coerced, and the rest of them. These are part of the things that you need to tell people. Tell them those things that affects them. Do we have all those things? Yes, those are part of the pitfalls that I'm talking about here. Then uh, why we actually we talked about essential goods and that they are not going to be VAT, but the fact still remains that um, the benefit is still not going to get to the people because every other services around those ones that are without taxes, we are going to increase their tax. We are going to force tax on them. We are going to be collecting tax around them, and this will actually cause a kind of increase. You can't have both. Immediately you start collecting tax on some of the things around those that you have not taxed. It will affect those that you have not taxed, and the price will still increase. So it's still going to affect the people. These are part of the pitfall that we are actually still talking about. It's going to affect the citizen. There's nothing you can do about it because the organizations, the firm industries that produce some of the household products, they are people who will not take responsibility for all of this. They are still going to add it to the price of the cost of whatever they are produced, and of course, guess who is going to affect the citizen. And also, some stakeholders are arguing that the rise with this actually increase the level of tax on middle earners, and this will erode the gain of minimum wage. You actually, if you look at the price of things in the market, a lot of people will say they are saying that inflation is not so much, it didn't increase so much. It's a lie, because we buy petrol quite some time before President Tinubu. On this very day, it was on that day that it increased below 200 naira, and now today we are buying it for 700 naira, 700 or 700 plus, and that's you should calculate that. That's like about 300% increase. And if you are going to calculate the inflation on that, it means that the amount that you are actually saying that you have increased the salary of people to does not even measure up with the level of inflation that has happened to most of the consumable goods, essential goods, and the rest of them. And now we are also now taxing those who are minimum earners. Because if you are earning over 850,000 in Nigeria today, you are a minimum earner, and of course that is going to be taxed, and that's a burden on the citizen as well. It's going to be a serious one. So it's like we are throwing away the gains that we have on some of the gains that we are actually having already. and also the political resistance. A lot of people will actually resist this politically, and also when it comes to states, the changes in VAT revenue sharing and state allocation have sparkled debate among governors and regional blocks, like how you want to share it. They are actually not okay with it, and this is actually going to bring a whole lot of problem. And of course, where you are actually generating those tax is from the state, because the federal government does not have its own states. It's only the state governors that are actually bringing the money that the federal is actually spending, and that's going to actually spark a bit of problems. And so also behavioral change. I'm a behavioral change expert. I do a lot of SBC and social and behavioral communication, and I can tell you that you don't just apply something before priming people. You have worked about the perception, carry out survey about perception, except for the fact that we are running our government as if this is like this can be called meritocracy, because we just apply laws to people without training them, without feeling their pulse, without knowing whether they actually want it or they don't want it. Then we also talked about I will also say one of those loopholes is the fact that multinational companies, they know how to find their ways. It is only businesses that are yet to mature to that level that will fall into all these pits. They will look for a way. I know of a particular company that changed their name almost to 2 years. I don't want to explain the theory behind it, but they change their names almost every 2 years, and of course they are looking for a way to actually boycott some of all these regulations that we are talking about. So what I'm saying here is the fact that multinationals will also find their way. They will look for a way to solve their own problem, and so that's what I'm saying here. So what we should be looking out for. So instead of saying Happy New Year in 2026, by 1st of January 2026, you should be saying Happy New Tax Reform. That's what you should be saying. And also, I think part of those things that we need to be looking at is the data and transparency measure. The data and is the data actually going to be people's oriented? Is there going to be transparency when it comes to, you have generated money from me, and when it comes to issue of tax justice, will there be tax justice? The road that I pass through from here to Ile-Ife that takes me like 2 hours instead of 30 minutes, because that road is so terrible, will there going to be tax justice in that context? Will you spend the money I've actually given you to, House of Assembly, are they going to make the amount they are collecting, are they going to make it public? Those are part of the things that we need to actually understand. And of course the tax man, are they not going to be using excessive force? Because already we have a lot of force in our community already. Are they not going to be doing brigandage like every other agencies that have done that to us before resisting them? How are states going to adapt this? How are going to be adopt? Are going to be adoption, then the adaptation? How are going to adapt this into their system? Will it work for them or not? Will the state allow the local government to generate its own revenue? Have we been able to solve, apart from the court case that gave them the mandate to get their FAC directly? Have we amended the constitution? Because it is the constitution that created this loophole, and have we been able to solve this problem? So a lot of perception and compliance, the issue of perception and compliance, how are people perceiving this? Is this like a threat to them, or you don't even care whether it's a threat or not to them? These are part of the issues that we actually need to look at. So I'm going to be saying that in January, happy new. It's not happy new year. It's happy new tax reform. Thank you very much. I'll be seeing you in my next video. God's willing, I'm still going to do several videos this year. Thank you.